Hey YouTube, this is a Garant, which I've talked about before. This model is a 40B, made in Japan, like it says on the bottom corner of the label. And this is a fantastic silver colour. It's an electroacoustic, it's got old style. I believe this is either a very good copy, or a very much a copy of, or a blatant rip-off of, or maybe even the same parts as a Washburn. Is it a Washburn Festival? It's called. It's very much this idea. As for year-wise, we're not really sure about this. This is a guitar that I should have bought, but I didn't. I found it in my pal Wayne, who runs the Grant Guitars sold in Scotland Facebook page. I bought it for him. A lot of privilege. I should have bought it myself. The strings on it are, as you can see, absolutely stinking. But I'm going to do a video of it anyway, because it sounds surprisingly good. Maybe not play that much lead on it in case I get tetanus off the rust. As I've gone through these before, Grant Guitars was a shop, or a series of shops in Glasgow and Edinburgh, and there might be one in Dundee or whatever. And back in the day, they were importing guitars from Japan and getting their own name put on the headstock. These are the sort of later on ones with a different logo. Normally they did a line of like Les Pauls and SGs I've seen, and Fenders, Tellys and Strats and such things, as Grant with a slightly different logo from that. I think this is later on. So going by the colour, I'm thinking early 80s as opposed to 70s. Good quality though. But this is an absolutely mental colour. I've no idea what it's going to show up in the video. It looks silver sometimes, and sometimes it looks champagne. And if I'm sure if I put it near this T-shirt, it'll come up as being a sort of green burst, and it might even be looking pink. So what my thinking is, there is no colour. It has zero colour at all. It is just reflective. So whatever colour the room it is, or whatever colour your light shine on it, that's what it looks like it is. So it's all the way around. Cut away. Right, but as you may be able to see on the wall, oh, Philip Bennett always struggles with this. Da-da! This is, I bought this about 3 weeks ago, something like that. This is a hit off the light guitar, which is exactly the same colour. It being, and a very similar headstock, but here's the, actually to see if they are exactly the same headstock. So that's a no. Well, is it? Yeah. So the acoustic's slightly thinner. It's a sort of similar shape, but not quite identical. I didn't think it was. Hold on, I'm going to find a lead to plug in. We're going to make a noise. I decided just to make this into I'll make it into a Grant Guitars video. I'm not really sure what to do with acoustics. Acoustics aren't really my thing. Obviously I like playing acoustic, but it's just electric guitars are just so much more me. And this is very similar to the original first Grant, which I found of this range. The one I had, if you look back in my videos from about 2 years ago, it was a Postman found one in a skip, and it was that colour, same colour as the red one there, but it was this model with a Strat style trem and a single pickup. tuned it before. I think maybe when I hit it off the light I might have knocked it out actually. But we'll give it a quick. Right, out. I did just move this down from upstairs in the attic. Oh, it's miles out, miles out. That'd be the one I hit off the light. Yeah. Still not sounding in tune, is it? What I didn't do, which I should have done, was play this for 10 minutes before I did the video, but because I wasn't going to, I only decided about 10 seconds ago I was going to do that. Right, in tune now. Stand a bit further back so you can hear me. Yeah, so these are, as I was saying earlier on about Grant, they did a lot of, in the 70s and I think in the 80s as well, did a lot of sort of Les Paul copies and Strats and Tellys and stuff, but they also had these sort of strange looking, I don't really know what it's a copy of. It's not really a copy, but these are really high quality for what they are. I don't know how much these cost new. If anyone locals ever remembers the Grant shops, give me a message. Tell me if they remember how much did these cost new. I've really no idea. It's got a sort of DiMarzio looking pickup. This one, interestingly, I've now seen 3 of these guitars. Well, I'm including that red one and the red one, the first red one. They didn't say Gotoh on the back, but this pickup does actually say Gotoh on the back of it, so it's a Gotoh pickup. I think, to be honest, I think Gotoh were like kind of like the all parts of Japan in the 70s, so I think they made everything. And I think the tuners are by Gotoh as well. But I mean, all parts, it's not like they didn't have one range. You know, I think they made the lot, so you could get like sort of high range, high end pickups, low end pickups, Strat pickups, Les Paul pickups, everything, and all different types of tuners and everything. They just made hardware, the lot, but very high quality. These guitars are absolutely stunningly well made. They would embarrass most guitars, and you get buy new now. I mean, for me anyway, just not going for obviously a Gibson Les Paul. Slash plays one of them. Yes, it's a Gibson. Gibsons are worth thousands of pounds. They are. Apart from the fact that this is not a Gibson Les Paul, it's better in just about every other way. It really is. It's just better built. The quality is ridiculous. The rosewood fingerboard is absolutely dark and it's not been painted. Amazing, and it's just like you know, the little details. It's kind of got like a very similar. That wee bit there is very like an Aria Pro, made in Japan. Not sure where these are made. There is. It's got the laminated neck. See the neck's made of 5 pieces of maple, running up and down the way to make them super strong. No scarf joint. It's got like a volute there to stop it snapping. Gibson. So stunning. That was looking at the electrics. I just got a volume and a tone, and that's a coil split switch, which is quite nice. So this is really why I should have bought this for myself, really, because you know they do go together rather well. I've been accumulating guitars like a lunatic recently. So that's this Grant. So from I don't know what model it is. I don't know what year it's from, but I'm thinking early 80s. I think Grant stopped in 1985. So before 1985 would be when this one was from. 2 seconds. I don't think I've actually done a video for this other one, which I got. Actually, well, I'll say I got it at Download. I was down at the Download Festival this year, and Wayne did me a deal. He's the guy that runs the Grant page, because I actually met him because I had a Grant Les Paul, which I've now sold. But I'm not really a Les Paul fan, and to be fair, the Les Pauls and the Strats are not as pro as these are. Yeah, this one stayed in tune. So this has got the same coil split switch. It splits the coils on both these pickups. The pickups look identical to the one in that one, but these aren't actually branded Gotoh on the back of them, so who knows. It's the same multiply neck. It's basically the same as the silver one, apart from this one's got a hardtail, which I prefer hardtail. It's too strong. You know, it's this is a totally ridiculous quality guitar as well. Absolutely stunning, and the same again with the. It's just the quality of it. You can kind of, you know, you can try your Fenders and stuff, and you go, oh, played well, but this is you just cannot fault this, apart from the fact that it's perhaps a bit ugly. I originally thought it was totally minging, but now I've kind of won my way through. So, with these guitars, as far as I'm going to say we, because me and my pal have been sort of looking them up and trying to decipher what we can from them. There is another guitar that looks quite similar to it by a brand called Yoshi, as in, you know, the guy from Mario, with a similar sort of headstock and a very similar shape. And I haven't seen ones exactly the same as these, but I've seen ones with a set neck. These are bolt on. I've seen a set neck one, and I've seen a through neck Yoshi, which looked very similar to this. They weren't solid colours, they were natural wood, so you could see the through neck as well. So I'm not sure whether they're maybe the same factory that these were bought from, but these are like sort of, it's like I'm saying lower end as in they're not through neck or set neck. That makes it cheaper, but the quality of the parts and the way it's assembled is just absolutely a different league from a modern guitar. And so, in knowledge of existence, we know there's at least two of these in this colour, because Wayne's got another one. There's definitely one in this colour that's a single pickup, and there's that silver one, and I've seen a bass version, which I wish I'd bought. I don't think I had the chance to buy it, but I saw it, and it was just basically a bass version of it, and it was a sort of turquoisey blue colour, but this sort of really spangly, glittery, the same as what these are, and I want one of them. I want the turquoise blue one. Now, so if anyone's got one of these, drop me a line, because I'm just interested to see how many there are, because I really don't know. I mean, are there tens of them? Are there hundreds of them? Is there only 10 of them? I just don't know. And you start thinking, if it was only imported by a shop in Glasgow or whatever, how many guitars did they buy in one sitting? Did they buy, you know, like half a dozen of each colour? Or was it one of each colour, or were these samples? Or it's unknown. But these are stunning guitars. This is really good. This one's got, I've put Elixir strings on this one, which makes a big difference to guitars. It's just that you put Elixir strings on it. If it's your guitar, put Elixir strings on it. I just don't do it because I've been trying to buy cheaper ones, because if I'm selling a guitar, I do quite a lot of sort of fixing up cheapy ends, you know, squires and the like, and I don't really want to be selling a guitar for sort of 90, 100 quid. I don't want £15 worth of strings on it, so I just put rotos on it. Which rotos are great for a couple of weeks, but once it's been sitting there for a couple of weeks, you start dying a bit, whereas Elixirs just last. So I've got guitars that I haven't played for a couple of years, and then you can go back to it and it's like, yes, you can still play it because it's got Elixirs on it. Neck pickup. Of course, with 2 volumes, and this I'm actually sitting there with both of them coil split just now. Both on, you can quite a variance between. Yeah, so that'll probably do me for the guys just now. Just when I first got the first one, you look back a couple of years ago, I think I called it an ugly. I got one, someone had contacted Wayne's page and they'd found a Grant guitar and a skip, and it was this colour of the version of the single pickup one. And it had been outside in the rain and stuff like that, so some of the frets were popping out, so I kind of brutally hammered them back in again a bit and made it play. You adjusted the neck, and it was I was really surprised at how good it sounded, considering I hadn't really done much to it. But the frets were pretty much goosed as they'd been out and then hammered back in again and stuff. So it was taken to a luthier down in Leicester, who's like quite a famous guy. I can't remember what his name is, but he does like the guys from Thin Lizzy's guitars and stuff like that. And I think he makes his own guitars, but you know, it's a professional job of guitar tech, fixing guitars. And he said it was one of the nicest guitars he'd ever seen. And I was like, no, really? He's like, no, just partly just the way the wood it's made of and stuff is just as good as you can get a guitar. It's like, yeah. So if you've got one of these, give me a shout. Especially if you've got a beat up one, especially if you've got a turquoise one. But my ideal set, I think, would be the turquoise version of the bass, maybe, or maybe the I don't know. There might be other models. Maybe there's one. I don't know. So we know there's a single pickup with a trem, and there's a double pickup with a block, both bolt on neck. So, anyone got one?